Hello, I'm going to present the work Empathy-Centric Design of a System to Evaluate and Repair Accessibility Barriers. My name is Afra Pascual Almenara from University of Lleida, Spain, and the name of the other authors who are my thesis supervisors are Mireia Rivera and Toni Granollers. This is my profile, and if you want, you can view more information about me on ResearchGate or LinkedIn. This is the outline of this presentation. And first of all, I'm going to start with the introduction. According to the World Health Organization, about 50 to 20% of the global population has some type of disability. In many countries, there is a strong regulation about web accessibility over websites to comply with minimal access requirements. But according to several studies from the European Commission and from the USA consultancy WebAIM, less than 10% of websites are complying with web accessibility requirements. And what's the problem? Nowadays, web content is not only created by web developers. Millions of users, called prosumers, are feeding social networks blogs and companies' websites with text, images, and videos. In this scenario, there are two main problems. One, the prosumers don't have accessibility knowledge, but more important, they don't need to know about accessibility. And two, content manager system might not provide appropriate support for developing accessible websites. To solve the gap between established requirements and current practice, we built a proof of concept of an accessibility evaluation tool called Empathy Editor for Accessibility. The resulting tool tried to facilitate empathy with accessibility problems, to foster the creation of accessible content and improving the accessibility user's experience. The communication design and the empathy built into the system makes the tool suitable for non-technical audience with no previous knowledge on web development. In order to create the tool, we made different user tests. We test more than 40 users with disabilities in order to understand the impact that accessibility barriers have on the emotion of people with disabilities. We test people with visual, motor, hearing, and cognitive disabilities. Interviews and observation were the basis to define several personas used later to communicate the barriers from a personal standpoint. The result of all the tests revealed which elements were the major cause of frustration of each user group, and how disabled users displayed less criticism than expected to the barriers. We stored all these results in a database. We published partial results to the impact of accessibility barriers in different articles. Now I'm going to explain the tool Empathy Editor for Accessibility. This tool has two main goals. One, communicate accessibility barriers in a more emphatic way, offering a personal perspective of accessibility barriers built upon a real people's perception. The tool's target users are prosumers. Two, is offer automatic repairs and specific suggestions to improve the accessibility of the content just before the publication of a content to a content manager system. We developed the system following two methodologies: semiotic engineering principles, which help us to analyze the system communicability to match the user's mental model with the message of the system, and user-centered design, which help us to create a system fit to users' needs. And now I'm going to explain how the Empathic Editor for Accessibility works. In step 1, prosumers create content, and this content is evaluated by an automatic online evaluation of accessibility. In step 2, the system automatically analyzes the errors from the WCAG guidelines and groups them by barriers. In step 3, the system shows for each barrier information in an emphatic way, using emoticons with real people with disabilities in order to communicate messages and inform where the accessibility problems are in an understandable way to the prosumer. In step 4, the users can fix the problem of each barrier because the system shows the correct way to solve them. And finally, in step 5, prosumer can publish the content without accessibility problems. We create a plugin on WordPress to test the tool, and we are going to see how it works. The content is published on WordPress, but before the system evaluates it. The system shows the elements causing accessibility barriers ordered by disabilities. But the content still has accessibility barriers. The tool shows the accessibility barriers affecting users with visual impairments. The information related to the remaining accessibility barriers is viewed. The accessibility barriers related to the image has been corrected. And now the content is accessible to the users with visual impairments. As we can see, accessible features have been added to HTML. The content is accessible for every user covered by the system. And finally, the content is published on WordPress, and there are no accessibility barriers with HTML content. We made 2 evaluations of the system. First of all, we did a user test to 8 prosumers in order to analyze the level of comprehension of the messages offered by the Empathic Editor for Accessibility tool, compared to another accessibility evaluation tool with a classic interface, called Tau CMS. The results show the difficulties faced by prosumers in interpreting accessibility errors when displayed in a technical language, and that a more emphatic presentation could help a better understanding of these problems. After we analyzed the communicability of 2 web accessibility evaluation tools with the semiotic inspection method from semiotic engineering. This method focuses on analyze the messages that are delivered by the designers of a system. We compare Empathic Editor for Accessibility and Tau CMS, a more classical evaluation tool. The results show that the classical evaluation tool Tau CMS is for technical users with a deep knowledge on accessibility, while Empathic Editor for Accessibility system is for non-technical users with poor or no knowledge on accessibility. Finally, I'm going to present the conclusions. The Empathic Editor for Accessibility system facilitates empathy with accessibility problems. The communication design and the empathy makes the tool suitable for non-technical audience with no previous knowledge on web development. Following user-centered methodology and semiotic engineering has provided a more emphatic tool for communicating issues related to the WCAG guidelines. Thanks for your attention.